Greetings, my name is Tim Johnston. This is Recovery, Strength, Hope and Courage. The chances are, if you're watching these videos or videos like these on here, that you think you've got a problem with alcohol and drugs, or you know you've got a problem with alcohol and drugs and you're doing something about it, and you're in recovery, or you're just trying to gain knowledge. But it's probably going to be the two former ones. Christmas is coming up. We're very close, obviously, in December now, and it's a very daunting time of year for anyone who has alcohol and drug issues. And I just wanted to make this video to share my experience and perhaps give you a few tips on actually enjoying your Christmas sober without any of the trauma that maybe you think you're going to have during this time of year. But I do understand, because I look back at last year, and last year was the first Christmas that I've had sober for as long as I could remember, and it was very daunting for me because I was still very early into my recovery, and I was probably like the rest of you, particularly if you're in early recovery or you're struggling at the moment. It was coming up. There's office parties coming up, isn't there? Throughout the December period, and obviously you've got the big event and the build-up itself. And we've been programmed and brainwashed by the alcohol advertising companies and the media and through generations and generations of experience that Christmas and celebrations in general are synonymous with raising a glass of alcohol. And you look at that and you think, well, how can I enjoy Christmas? Because you're so brainwashed, and you're brainwashed not just for Christmas. I mean, you're talking about obviously weddings and funerals and christenings and birthdays, and all these things become synonymous with raising a glass of alcohol. But for people like me and perhaps you, they become excuses. They become excuses to drink more and more in excess. Although I didn't, as an alcoholic who was in advanced chronic stages of the disease, I didn't really need any excuses as such. But my brain would still jump to those excuses and use any occasion that that other people were drinking alcohol as an occasion for me to generally overindulge and make an absolute prick of myself. And I look back at all those Christmases that I ruined for my family, the upset, the looks across the table, the disappointment in my daughters and my wife and the rest of my family and friends in me at those times, the times when particularly Christmas, where we should be sharing everything as a family together. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm to be present as a family, not in some alcoholic fug, disappearing into yourself. You're supposed to be celebrating it and communicating and enjoying the meal as a family, as people did many generations ago. But now it just becomes an excuse for 7 o'clock in the morning to pick up your first glass of alcohol as you're opening the Christmas presents or whatever. And like I said, I didn't need any excuse, but we are brain. So now we're told, to drink when we're happy, to drink when we're sad, to celebrate, that we need it to celebrate. But I've discovered, particularly and I knew anyway, and I think as well, in your heart of hearts, that you don't need it. You don't need it to have a good time. You don't need it to relax. And when you're present and when you're clean and experiencing the actual moment of Christmas itself, you actually experience what Christmas is all about, and as it should be. Now, I understand that, on the run up to Christmas, you've got your office parties, but there's many, if you need any props for that, there's many non-alcoholic drinks out there, and many drinks that look like alcoholic drinks. It's not about being boring. You've just got to realise that, you can't. I mean, moderation is bullshit. Let me just tell you that now. Moderation is bullshit, and that in your heart of hearts as well. And you want to be there for your family. You want them to be proud of you. I know I did. And I remember, the Christmas prior to last year, 2 years ago, was the one that really judded me into recovery. I know it was about probably a few months later than that, but I couldn't even hold my knife and fork at the dinner table. I was shaking so much. And I was in the chronic stages, and maybe some of you aren't as bad as that, but I guarantee you will be if you carry on in this path. Alcohol is the most dangerous drug there is. There's no doubt about that. You won't hear that every day from the government, and they don't put cirrhosis of the liver on bottles of alcohol, like they put cancer of the lung on cigarette packets. There's lobbies that are trying to make them do that, but the alcohol lobby is just too powerful. They're in government, and a lot of them are government ministers who have boards of directors on these companies, and there's too much money to be lost for everyone, for them to give you all the bad news. But if you look hard enough, we have a very powerful tool, and I said this in my life story that I did the other day. It's called knowledge. It's called the internet, and you can look for yourself. And there's some brilliant documentaries on here. So if you're feeling as though you want to pick up, particularly at this time of year, you need to just remind yourself where you've come from, how far you've come, and do you want to see the disappointment on your children's face over Christmas? Do you want to, most of all, let yourself down and all the hard work that you put in just for the sake of your brain clicking into a gear that you just think, I deserve this reward, I've worked hard at Christmas party, I'll be boring if I don't pick up a drink. Boring. You'll be the opposite. You'll be the sharp one there. You'll be the one that's entertaining, because you know what you're doing. And plus the fact, when everyone else is in the shit the next morning, vomiting, feeling like crap, having poisoned their bodies, which is what they're doing. If you there's a documentary on YouTube called Alcohol Will Kill You. It's a Dispatches documentary. I suggest everyone watches it that's watching this video, because it goes into great depth into what every glass of alcohol is, however small you think it is doing to your body every time you put it into it. So you just don't put it into it. It's simple as that. Don't let yourself down. Don't disappoint your family. This time of year is very, very tempting. I'll tell you a little Buddhist proverb to finish off, because I don't want to make this too long, because it's all about old ideas. It's all about ideas that you've been programmed with for many, many, many years that you think are synonymous. But like I say, it won't be you that's waking up with their pain in your head the next morning after the office party. You'll be bright as a button, healthy, feeling great, feeling happy, not feeling full of self-regret, self-loathing, self-hatred, feeling ill, having poisoned your body and poisoned your mind, and let yourself down and let everyone else down that's been behind you. Don't let Christmas do it to you, because I tell you what, last Christmas was the best Christmas I've had, even though it was in early recovery, and I was nervous about it. I drank Coke last year. I'll be drinking water this year. I'm just happy with water. I'm happy to cook the meal. I'm happy to enjoy the experience of being with my family and communicating, enjoying the good food, enjoying the conversation. And I'm happy for them to have a drink, because they haven't got the same issues as I've got, and they enjoy a little drink with Christmas. And I'm not saying that people, everyone in the world should just stop on all these occasions, because there are some people who can just enjoy a drink once a year or once in a while. But we're not one of them, and you have to understand that. We just don't enjoy the one drink. It's simple as that. A thousand's never enough, is the old saying. One's too many, a thousand's never enough. And I'll tell you this little Buddhist proverb now. It's about little villagers. Many, many hundreds of years ago, they used to catch monkeys to eat. And the way they used to catch these monkeys was they used to make these jars. And the jars had a very narrow top to them like that, and a wider bottom, and the top was just about wide enough for a monkey to put its hand in like that, very narrowly, put its hand in and reach to the bottom of the jar. And in the bottom of the jar they used to put like nuts and seeds and everything the monkey, bananas, everything the monkey loved to eat used to go into the bottom of this jar. And they used to leave it around outside at the edge of the jungle overnight, and then come back the next morning. And then 9 times out of 10, they'd find a monkey with its hand stuck in the jar. Now the monkey would have hold of what was in the jar like that and clench its fist. And once it had hold of what was in the jar, it couldn't take its hand or lift the jar. It was too heavy, so it couldn't escape. So then the villagers would come and beat the monkey to death, give it pain and kill it. And this is the analogy I just want to make, because all the monkey needed to do was let go. If he'd let go, he would be free. He would be free and go back and enjoy his life. And that's the grip that this programming at this time of year has got on you. You need to let go of all those old ideas and be free. Because if you don't let go of these old ideas, you will get clubbed to death by this disease, and you will die, and you will lose everything you've got. You know, particularly your precious family, you know, the people you love the most, closest to you. Because at this time of year, it's a time of year when you should be closest to them, and you should be closest as a family. It's a very special time of year. If you drink, you're pushing them away, slowly but surely. You may not think so, but you are, and you're destroying them, and you're hurting them. So don't do that. Think before you do it. Enjoy yourselves at the parties. You don't need alcohol to do it. Enjoy yourself on Christmas Day. You'll love it, and you'll wake up refreshed and full of self-worth and happiness the next day. Trust me. And I'm looking forward to this year with all my heart, you know, because I have no desire at all, and I'm happy for, like I say, for them to have a drink. So that's just the message. It's just a short one. Just think before you do it, and you know, think at all these occasions that you associate alcohol with, because it's just brainwashing. It's just old habits that you need to reprogram. And once you reprogram them and understand what your brain's doing, take 5 seconds if you're struggling. The 5-second rule. Think what you're doing before you do it, and you'll see how crazy it is. It's insanity if you do pick up, you know. And I know it's hard, you know, particularly if you're in early recovery, but you will get through it. You are strong enough to get through it. So have a great Christmas and enjoy the day and seize the day. Carpe diem, seize the day on Christmas Day. And if you're struggling, just hold on, because it will get better and better and better. Have a great Christmas. Much love to you all. Bye-bye.